Okay, I'm back. My granddaughter was just here, so I wanted to spend time with her before she had to go home to her mom's. But so Hunter is going to talk to her about the wedding today, so I'm hoping that goes well. But she was so cute today. We were eating blueberries. I said, "Do you want a snack?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Do you want some blueberries?" She said, "Yes." So we're sharing some blueberries. And she's like, "I like blueberries." So had to go see her and spend time with my little princess. Okay, so these are kind of different pinks. I don't know if I want, maybe white would look better, but that doesn't really go with this. This is a tag to an outfit that I got Esme for Christmas. It was called Angel Deer, and it was just a tag that was on the outfit, but I thought this was so cute, and it matches the theme of the page really well. I want to intermix red because red and pink go really, really well together. I'm just trying to think what other little bits of pink might work that I could do that. That's even different. That matches her shirt, her little outfit. But it's a different pink. See, these complement each other. This does not really complement that because it's a totally different pink. But we can see that works. We could do Love You over here, and then like put this under here. Yeah. Okay, so Scott and I were watching a movie last night, and oh my goodness, I am questioning when movies got to be so I don't even know how to say this, but like so it was a rated R movie. It was on Hulu. I don't know if it was out at the theater or if it was just a made for Hulu movie. But oh my goodness. There was so much nudity in this movie. Mark Ruffalo was in it, and so was Emma Stone. She was in it too. And it was kind of a dystopian movie. So it was like it felt like it was in the past, but yet it was like futuristic in ways. It was bizarre as heck. Just so bizarre. But it was almost like a train wreck. You just couldn't stop watching it because it was just so, oh my goodness, so out there. There was a lot of sex in it. There was a lot of male nudity, which you very rarely see in rated R movies. And female nudity, like full frontal female nudity. And I was shocked, and like I'm not even sure what to say about it, but it was like, we finished that movie and I was like, what the heck was that? And he agreed. He was like, what the heck was that? I'm like, oh my gosh, had I known. Like, the only reason why I wanted to watch it was because we both like Emma Stone and we both like Mark Ruffalo. And It was bizarre. It was definitely, it reminded me of the movie The Clockwork Orange from the 1980s, or A Clockwork Orange. That was very dystopian as well, and just bizarre as heck. But yeah, it was definitely a movie that I probably will never watch again. Not that I'm so pure that I mean, you know, I know how all that works. I mean, I have 3 kids, but like, just, I don't know. It was just very, very pornographic, yet, I mean, it didn't really show, it showed them having sex, but it wasn't like pornography sex. It wasn't like, you know, like you see, like, all of it, you know. You don't really see that part of it, but you do see, you know what they're doing, and you know that, and they're like, you see a lot of nudity. But very bizarre movie. Like, probably the most bizarre movie I've seen in years. Not what I was expecting. And then Hunter came over with Esme just now, and he was like telling me about a movie that they recently watched on HBO Max that was kind of dystopian in nature, and like seems kind of out there as well. About, like, he said it was called The Visit. This one was called Poor Things. The one that Scott and I watched. I was like, oh my gosh. I don't know. We've got some pretty crazy people making movies these days, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to put a gem here, I think. So we're going to have steak on the grill tonight for supper. Just small ones. He's got them marinating right now in teriyaki. And I don't know what we're gonna. Oh shoot! I forgot to get broccolini yesterday. Oh man, I just remembered that. We were gonna stop at another store last night on the way to town. We got groceries yesterday at Meijer, and after we took a break from car shopping, and then got groceries at Meijer, and then I was gonna stop at Fresh Thyme to get some broccolini because it's the only place in town that sells it. And I completely forgot about it. So we can't have that. What can I make instead? I mean, we have frozen vegetables. Maybe we have some frozen broccoli. Bummer. That makes me mad, but I guess we're going back up to Bloomington this week. So when I decide on a car, if I decide on one of those, or if I decide to keep looking, I just don't know. I don't like car shopping. Mainly because I don't like car payments, but I'm paying cash for this vehicle, so that will not be a problem. So my goal is to be out of debt, and I've been following Dave Ramsey pretty closely the past few years. Our house is almost paid off. We do use credit cards, or I have credit cards. But I'm pretty good at paying them off. And I'm good at saving money. I don't spend a lot of money. I try not to go anywhere unless I can pay for it in cash. The trip that I went on last weekend, I didn't use any of my credit cards at all. I could have, but I didn't. Just because I had the cash set aside for it. And my friends were really good at like purchasing things and then like Venmoing money back and forth. Like one person would buy the tickets to something and then we just Venmo them the money for it. And I do that with Matt and Yessie. I use Zelle for them because that's what Yessie likes. She prefers Zelle, but most people use Venmo. And I have both. I have both a Venmo and a Zelle account. It's just easier. That was so fun last weekend, though. I haven't laughed that hard in... I can't even tell you the last time I've laughed that hard. Just... I think it is so important to go places with your girlfriends. It really is. Just to get away and just to, like... Not that you need to get away from your life, but it almost feels like you're escaping, like, you know, reality for just a little bit. And that's always nice to do. Okay, so that's this one. I think this one's done. I wanted to add some green here because there's green on the tree, and I just wanted to kind of tie it in. I think I'm going to move this in a little bit, though. I really want to. So last night on Facebook, I wanted to ask people about the 3 different cars that I'm interested in, and I wanted to find out if any of them had experience driving those vehicles and what they thought of them and that kind of stuff. And my parents, of course, they always... I try not to do this to my kids. I probably do embarrass my kids sometimes. But I try not to micromanage their lives. That is something that I work very hard to not do. Because my parents have always micromanaged my life. Always. Ever since I was a child. And I am the only one that they do this to. They don't do it to my sisters. They don't do it to my brother. But they do it to me. And I'm the oldest, and I don't understand why they can't let go of me. They can let go of everybody else, but they cannot let go of me. Like if I say I'm going to paint my bathroom green and I post it on Facebook and the color that I want, my parents will always say something like, oh, I wouldn't paint it that color. Oh, you need a lighter color. Oh, you need this. I would do it gray. I would do this. I would do that. And it's like, in their minds, they think that they're giving me input, but to me it feels like pressure. Like they're pressuring me not to choose what I like or what I want. And the same thing with the car. You know, my dad was the first one to put in there to say I'm not sure that any of those cars are the right car for you. And I'm like, okay, first of all, number 1, I didn't ask you. Number 2, he said you should check the Carfax and stuff, which I did. I checked the reviews on those cars. I checked to see if they were in accidents. I did all the work. And it's like, because I want to be sure. not for them. I didn't do it for them. I did it for me, to make sure that I was buying a decent car, if I decided to buy those. But it was like, and then they went in on, well, those small cars are not going to be big enough to haul the grandchildren. And I'm like, I'm not buying a car for my grandchildren. For one thing, I'm not trading in my Navigator. I'm still going to have my Navigator. And it doesn't even matter. I mean, it's like, I would never tell my kids who have kids to buy a specific car because it's not big enough to haul their kids. Or it's not, like, I would never do that because it's not my place. I thought it was a dumb idea for my parents to buy a Jeep at their age. It doesn't make sense. My dad has trouble walking. He has trouble getting into things. Why would he buy a Jeep? They don't go off-road. My mom's older. It didn't make sense to me. But did I tell them that? No, of course not. Did I tell them that I didn't think that it was wise for them to make a rash decision in 1 month to move to Arizona? No, of course not, because it's not my place. Did I tell them that they should buy a motorhome that was 3 times more expensive than it would have been to just drive there without it and stay in a motel, and then now they're stuck with a motorhome that they have to get rid of. And it's like, no, I didn't tell them that because of the fact that it's not my place. I would never tell my kids any of those things. I would never tell my parents any of those things. And I don't know why they feel the need to do this to me. Like, my whole life, it's like, man, when I was looking at buying a house, I made the mistake to say, oh, we're looking for a house to buy. And my parents were here within 3 days, because they wanted to look with us. And I'm like, I didn't invite you to come look with us. And they're like, oh, yeah, but my dad's an electrician. He can tell, what's a decent house and what's not. Well, there were a lot of houses that I looked at that were decent houses that I probably would have liked. But my dad was like, nope. That's not a good idea. And I'm just like, and this house we happened to look at when they were here. And I was like, well, I really like this house. We didn't know there were issues with it at the time. We didn't know that there was black mold and stuff like that at the time because it was cosmetically, they had covered it up and it was sold by a bank, and all the stuff. And the price was good and all that stuff, and it seemed like the right house at the time. And it is our house and I'm going to stay here, but, we've had to put a lot of work into it. Well, right off the bat, my mom's like, you need to bid on this house right now. You need to bid now, today, tonight. I'm like, can I think about it? And mom's like, you need to bid before somebody else takes it. And it's just like, pressure, my God. And then after Scott and I had bought this house, they were here within 2 days after closing, because they wanted to make sure dad wanted to check all the electrical and dad wanted to do this. And I appreciate his help. I appreciate that he's an electrician. I appreciate that he wants to make sure that a house is safe for his daughter and her family. But it's just so much sometimes. I just feel like they make decisions, so many decisions for my life that have long-lasting repercussions. I mean, when we first moved into this house, there was a basketball hoop in front of our yard. And the neighborhood kids, because this house was vacant for so long, they would play basketball in front, which was not a problem at first. But I had little kids. I mean, even Matt was in the 4th grade at the time. So he was rather young. I was pregnant with Ethan and Hunter was 2. And these kids were cussing, leaving trash all around on our front lawn. And, and Matt was going to go outside and mom's like, oh, let him go outside. Let him meet some friends and stuff like that. And I'm like, I want to get to know their parents and their family before I introduce this whole, because all these kids were way older than Matt. They were like teenagers, and he was only in the 4th grade. You know, and my mom's like, oh, let him go, let him go. I used to hang out with kids and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Mom, times are different. You can't just let, and she was like, you're just being overprotective. You should let him go, you know. So I let him go, and because she wouldn't stop, and opened up an entire can of worms with these kids, that they were coming in our house, they're trying to steal stuff. All kinds of stuff, leaving trash everywhere. We finally had to call the police and have them remove the basketball hoop, because we asked them several times. We're like, you need to move this in front of one of you guys' house, because we put a trash can out there. You guys are not using the trash can. You guys are cussing. We have little kids. If we have the windows open, we can hear you guys, you know, and they were totally disrespectful kids. I mean, awful kids. And it was just a big, big problem. And it's like, I just couldn't believe that my mom was just like, oh, let him go, let him make friends, let him. And I'm like, these are not the friends that I want him to make friends with, you know. But it's hard to stand up to your parents when they're just like always pushing and pressuring. And it's just like, this happened my whole life. I mean, even with Ethan's ADHD medication, like when he was first diagnosed with ADHD and they prescribed him medication, you know, my parents, like they were here, and I was trying to get him to take his medication before he left for school, and my parents are like, he doesn't need medication. And I'm like, well, he was evaluated, and they said that he did. And the doctor evaluated him, the doctor prescribed it. Well, your doctor is a whack job. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Matt is fine, and he doesn't need any medication and all this stuff. So guess what happened? Matt refused every single day after that to take medication, because my parents went off on me and his doctor because they knew more, apparently. And now Matt is an adult. He is in college again, you know, getting a degree in computer engineering, and it's like he is back on medication because he needs it. It's like it helps him focus. Now, I'm not saying that it's always the case for all kids, but it's like, you know, I don't understand why, you know, my sister's kids have been on ADHD medication, but they never say anything to her about it. They've never said anything. And the reason why is because my sister will not take it. My sister will stand up to them and say, you know, just, well, this is what's happening, and, you know, and I wish that I could do that. But I was raised not to talk back to your parents, not to, you know, and now as an adult, I do find myself talking back to them and saying, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of you micromanaging my life. I'm sick of it. I'm in my 50s. I don't need a parent that does this. It's not, you know, I love them dearly, but just leave your rude and snide, opinionated comments at the door, you know? It's just, I know that they're older, and I know that I should be lucky that they're still here, because I know there are a lot of people whose parents are no longer here. And it does change things when people are no longer here. Because my mom had a bad relationship with my grandma for years. And then grandma died, and then now my mom is like lost without her. She feels like she's lost without her. And I understand that feeling, you know. But it's like, you still have to be kind too. I mean, you should always treat your children with respect. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. That my children will always be treated with respect. These are on deck. I don't know. They grew up in a different time. I feel like sometimes parents of the 60s that like, and I know they were very young when I was born, but I feel like they are more controlling now than they were when I was a kid. When I was a kid, they let me do, like, go anywhere, stay overnight at people's houses they didn't know. I mean, just a lot of stuff that I would never let my kids do. And I am a little bit overprotective just because I have been around enough to know, you know, that not everybody is trustworthy. I don't know, it's frustrating. So it makes me wish that I just didn't post stuff like that, but then I depend on, you know, other people's opinions as well. Like, I mean, I guess I could block them from certain posts so I don't get, you know, you can hide posts from certain people just because I know that they're going to say something like that. But, you know, I just want them to, like, support me in one thing in my life. I feel like if I don't do things exactly the way they think that I should do them, that, you know, I don't know. It's just very frustrating. It's just not the type of parent I am or the type of parent I want to be to my children. And I'm going to use this deer. This is Plainer Girl. I wonder if I can use this and then just cover up Plainer Girl, because I really don't want the Plainer Girl part on here. But I do like that deer for this page. So, you know, and I don't think I'm being over dramatic. I really don't. I mean, I can be dramatic. I'm not gonna lie. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I can be dramatic. But I also make really wise choices for myself. I just wish I knew why they did that. You know, I've always felt like I had to be perfect in order to, like, be respected or deemed worthy, you know, to be their daughter. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. You shouldn't have to. I mean, I haven't done anything wrong. This is hot cocoa. So, this is the first cocoa of the year. I still like the deer though. I don't know. I could ignore it. I think that my sister is better at ignoring things than I am. She she can easily say, I'll take that into consideration or something like that, and then do exactly what she wants to do. I am more the type of person, I wish I were more like that. I have difficulty doing that. Because I would rather, I don't know if I would rather, but I feel like I have to explain my reasons why. Like why my idea is a good idea, why I feel like I have to defend my choices. And I shouldn't have to at this age, especially considering, my parents don't have anything to do with my life as far as financial, like they don't give me any money. They never have. And so none of this has anything to do with them. It's just like, I think it's just a sense of control. Like, I think that, and I don't even know for sure, but I feel like because I'm the oldest, I make them feel old. I think that's part of it, is I make them feel old, and they long for a time when I was young, when my sisters and I were young, and my brother was young. And it's hard for them to grasp their age. And maybe it makes them feel like they're important, or that they have a say in my life, maybe. And maybe I don't get it because I'm not that age yet, And I know that my parents are much bolder now that they're older. I mean, that's just, I think that that's a gimme when people age, is they just start saying things that they wouldn't normally say. They just say it, They're just more outspoken. And I think that that's partially the case in this situation. And my dad has gone through a lot in the past few years with his health. And I know that I shouldn't always justify his behavior, but sometimes I feel like I must, because I know that what he went through affected him cognitively, and he's just not the same person that he used to be. He's just not. And he says that too. He's like, well, I'm not who I used to be. Sometimes he gets frustrated and he'll say that. And my mom says it all the time. She's like, your dad is not how he used to be. And he says stuff that, like, he doesn't, like, he says rude things. He's rude to people, where he never used to be rude to people. But my mom as well, my mom is, I don't know if stress is getting to her with all the health issues my dad has had, but she is forgetful as well. She is extremely forgetful. She'll start telling a story about something that happened in the past, and she will be dead wrong. Like, she'll be telling a story about my sister, something that supposedly happened with my sister, but it was actually me that it happened to. And if I correct her and say, Mom, that was me, that wasn't Jenny. And she'll say, I remember, I know that it was Jennifer, it wasn't you. And I'm like, Mom, I experienced it. I know that it was me. Well, maybe she experienced it too. And I'm like, no, everything that you're talking about happened to me, not to her. And it's just like, there's a point where you just got to stop arguing about it. They're just, you can't make someone who doesn't remember things in the same way, you can't make them force them to remember it in the way that it happened, even though you know that what they are talking about is incorrect. It's just, it's hard to see, to observe your parents get older. It really is. It's really hard, especially when they're having health problems and, you know. But my parents are kind of mean. Like, they're mean to Scott's family. I mean, they've always been mean to Scott's family. They've always just not been as kind to his family as what they should have been. And I feel bad about that. I mean, it doesn't excuse the behavior, Scott's behavior in the past. It does not excuse that at all. But, and I know that his mom has kind of been an enabler, and I know that his dad was not the best example, you know, as a dad, and I know that, you know, there are things that his dad did that are cringy, but it's just, no one would like you to rip apart their family. I mean, it's just not right, for one thing. It's just, I don't know. And I know that my parents are not bad people. I just think that they let the attitude that they have for my husband, because of the things that he's done, I think that they have let that get in cloud, you know, kind of like they need to blame somebody other than him for what has happened. And it's like, and that's the easiest thing for them to do. And it's not fair. And it's just like, it's just like when a wife talks about her husband, or a husband talks about a wife. You know, sometimes it's like you feel like you are entitled to say that because it's your wife, you know, it's your husband. It's you know, this is how you feel, right? But like, if anybody else says something about them, it's not appropriate, because it's like you feel like it's not their place to say anything. I mean, at least that's the way I feel about it. I feel like my parents are very giving people. They're kind people. They just, you know, one struggle that I have with my mom especially is that she looks down on people with disabilities. She always has, ever since I was a kid. I know it's because she didn't grow up around people who had disabilities. I know that. And I know that times were different when she grew up and all that stuff, but it's still unkind. It's unkind to say that you're uncomfortable around people who are just trying to live their life. And they're not They're not doing anything to you but existing. And I feel that way about like other people too, like people who misjudge me, you know. All of us have strengths and weaknesses. All of us have some sort of disability or disorder or whatever it is. All of us do. There is not anyone who is better than another person just because there is nobody who is perfect. We all have struggles. And when people start pointing fingers and saying, well, I'm uncomfortable around this person because of their disability and it makes me uncomfortable. Well, what if they're uncomfortable around you? And I think more often than not, they can sense your feelings toward them. I mean, they're not stupid. Just because someone has a disability, it doesn't make them not have feelings or not be able to hear or not be able to think. I mean, they experience sadness just like everybody else. And it's like when you dismiss their feelings and you just act in a way that is inappropriate, in my opinion, and you don't treat them equal, I can't get past that. I can't shake that. And I know a lot of people have biases. I know they do. We all have biases. It would be a lie if I said I didn't have a bias. I am biased against certain people. Not really according to race at all. I mean, because I know that all people are good and all people are bad. You know, there's good and bad people regardless of where they come from. But I do have biases, and more so biases against people who come from a lifestyle that I don't think is suitable for children. I don't think that they're doing a good job with their raising kids or that kind of thing. You know, that is a bias that I hold in, and I try to work through that. I mean, you have to when you work with kids. You can't judge families or their situation or their economic status. You can't judge them. You know, you have to help the child. They're the most important thing. You can't just judge them by who their parents are or what their situation is. And I know that. But it's really hard when your own parents have a problem with that. My dad doesn't really say too much, so I don't really know. I mean, my dad says a lot on Facebook. I think that's where I probably get it from, because I'm more verbal on Facebook than what I am in person. But oftentimes, and I know that I'm a lot like my dad, but and maybe his judgments are out of love. I don't know. He's just not expressing it correctly. I don't know. It's just something I need to work through and figure out. I need to cover this up because this is bugging me. It's ink from when I inked something the other day. So I need to put something there to cover that up. I'm going to look for something. And that's blue. I could just put like a really, I mean, you can't really see. That little piece. I think I'm just going to do that because the blue goes with the So I don't know what car I'm going to decide on. I don't know if there's going to be more cars by the time I get up to Bloomington this week after work. I'm going to have to go up there after work and decide which car I want to buy, or if I want to keep looking, or I don't know. I don't have anyone holding them for me. I just kind of was looking yesterday and just kind of like trying different ones out and just kind of debating, you know, because I don't want to make the wrong choice. It's just something that okay. I think that looks okay. I still need to cut out a 4 for this one here. I'll probably do some journaling down here or down here, like on the white parts. I kind of want to put like first hot cocoa of the season or something like that with letter stickers. But I have to find what letter stickers I want to use. I have never been this disorganized when doing a December daily before. I totally feel like I don't know what I'm doing, and I've been doing this for years, every year for years, but it's just one of those things. Let's see, we have HOTCOA. Yeah, there's hot cocoa, but I don't want it in white, so I'm going to color this in with a color. So I gotta find a color to do this with. And my markers are not in here. What can I use instead? I wish that I had my life in order, because I really feel like I don't right now. I'm gonna use brown. Hot cocoa's brown, and there's a lot of brown on this page. So I'm just gonna put hot cocoa. I don't want people to think that I am so judgmental of my parents. I'm not. I love them dearly. And I'm a little bit more intense than they are. As far as, my mom is very much a free spirit. She was kind of, I don't know that I would call her a hippie when she was young, but she is definitely a free spirit who is very liberal and who has very strong opinions about things, whereas I am more conservative in my views, and we clash pretty frequently. I don't normally clash with my dad, but lately, since mom has kind of been his caregiver, like since all this has taken place with his health, I feel like he has become more like her, and that concerns me. But I mean, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and and they're entitled to what their own beliefs. I'm not here to tell anyone what to believe or what not to believe. But I think that a lot of times they look at me negatively or my mom looks at me negatively because she is so against so many things that I hold dear, to my heart. And it's like, I would never, ever be that way to my kids. I don't care that if my kids are liberal or if they're not. I honestly don't even know, to be honest. I'm not going to tell my kids how to vote. I'm not going to tell my kids what to believe in, or, but okay, so I'm going to do first hot cocoa. So I'm going to do a 1, an S, and then a T. I mean, I homeschooled my kids, but that doesn't mean that my kids are going to homeschool their kids, and I'm almost certain that they won't, and I'm not upset about that. I think that, they're their parents. I'm not responsible for their kids other than, when I care for them. But that's not, I've raised my kids, and it's up to them to decide what is right for their children. And I think both are good. I think the public school system is fine. I think homeschooling is fine. I think that whatever you choose to do with your kids, I think private school is fine. I think just as long as you're consistent and you consistently teach your kids, it doesn't really matter where they go to school, what they do. As far as schooling goes, as long as they're learning and growing, that's the most important thing. And they're turning out to be decent human beings. And I know that all my kids are kind and compassionate adults, and I think that I don't worry at all, about their children or even, my daughter-in-laws. I think that they're wonderful. They're very kind and compassionate individuals that care deeply for others. So okay, so I'm going to put hot cocoa here. I'm wondering if I should do first. So I'm excited for this job to start. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that we're going to have a lot of fun. There's a school across the street that has a playground, so we're going to take the kids over there a couple times a day. Well, I think once a day, and then there's a fitness court within walking distance as well. That's not far from where we are having the camp. So I think that we're going to take the kids over there too. Give them a chance to try out the equipment there. And then in June, we're going to take them swimming. So that's going to be fun. And they have to test to make sure that they are... Oh, I need one more O. I need to color in another O. So they have to take a swimming test in order to qualify to go in the different areas of the pool. So we got to make sure that the kids are passing in order to go to those areas. But the lifeguards will determine, if they pass or not. We're not in charge of that, so. But, so that is fun. And we have a bus that will take them to those places when it's not within walking distance. And we have a bigger bus that's going to take us on like field trips and stuff to Chicago. We have 2 to Chicago, one to Shed's Aquarium and one to the Ice Cream Museum in Chicago. And then we have one to another place. I want to say Arcola. There's like a wildlife reserve that we're taking them to too. And that one's in July. So it should be fun. I think it's going to be a fun summer, but gives me something to do. I'm thinking that I'm going to walk. Like, my plan is to get off work at 3 every day, come home, change, go walk the trail for an hour, and then head over to Rep's gym and then work out with Angie when she gets off work. We usually meet her at 5 and then be done for the day with my workout. So then I'll have 2 workouts, because I found that lifting weights alone and working out is not helping me maintain weight loss like I want to. I've gained like 20 pounds since probably the past year. I don't know why. I don't know if it's hormonal. I don't know. I'm not eating any different, but I have stopped walking like I was. I was walking every single day. And I think that that's what aided in my weight loss. And why I was so successful was because I walked every day, and treadmill walking isn't doing it. So, I think that's my plan. So I'm going to do that every day and be committed to that all summer. And then, and we'll see where I am in the fall and see what I'm going to do, after my internship. I don't know. I'm debating like applying at schools, but there are things that I need to do, there are licensing exams and things like that I need to take. I wish I just didn't have such test anxiety. I've never failed a test. I have such anxiety to even take a test. I mean, even the CPR AED test, the first aid test, all that, like, I had anxiety and there was no reason for it. I had like one wrong out of like 50 questions. I don't know what my problem is, why I have such bad test anxiety, and it just keeps me from taking exams. I mean, like, I do it if it's like, if I have to, but like, if it's something that I have to schedule myself, like, it prevents me from scheduling the exam, and it's preventing me from moving forward in my career, and I need to do this, and it's just building up that confidence. I know I'll do fine. It's just, I don't know. I have test anxiety when I have to take my driver's test. The written part of my driver's test, which I had to do the last time I had it renewed because I was in an accident, which somebody got hurt, so I had to take a written exam, but I did fine. I had one wrong. Like, on that test too. You know, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't smoke weed, so, or take like that kind of stuff that's supposed to relax you. I don't do it. I don't know. It's just, I'm not that type of person. So, so that's this one. That's day 3. And then this is day 2. And I have this, or no, this is day 3. So this is day 4. This is day 4. And then I'm just going to leave this like hanging like this. I mean, I could hook it, but I really kind of like it just hanging like that. I think it's cute. So, but this is all that I'm going to do today. And I don't know when I'll be back, to be honest, because I'm trying to make this a priority as well, because it's fun and it gives me someone to talk to, you know, just like to chit chat while I craft, and it's fun. So I won't always have something to talk about, or, you know, like, oh, the drama, whatever. But yeah. So anyways, this is it. I need to clean up my little mess that fell off my cart. That is on the floor now. But y'all take care, and I will see you back here next time. Bye.